consulting services and connect individuals and businesses through our membership services, our events. And those services actually are not limited to the German business community. So we serve local businesses, but also businesses abroad.
Could you give us your contact information both in English and German? You can start with your name, your title, and the location, and a website, if possible, both in English and Deutsch. How did you tell me to pronounce it?
Deutsch is
Deutsch.
Correct.
Okay.
Of course. So we're going to start in English. So my name is Sven Langenau, Managing Director of the German-American Chamber of Commerce. And, well, phone number is 832-384-1201. And you find me, or you found our organization on the website at www.gacccsouth.com. So I'm going to switch to German, to Deutsch now. Mein Name ist Sven Langenau. Ich bin der Managing Director von der German American Chamber of Commerce in Houston. Und meine Telefonnummer hier in Houston ist die 832-384-1201. Im Internet sind wir erreichbar unter www.gaccSouth, also gaccSouth.com.
Thank you. Danke. So Germany is one of the largest exporters and importers in the world, according to the European Union trade. So the member companies that comprise the German American Chamber of Commerce in here, could you give us some large companies that we know, some that we don't know, and perhaps the services that they provide so that people can understand that there are German American businesses that are operating here in the greater Houston area?
Of course. So you probably have heard about BMW and Mercedes-Benz, I would assume.
They are a sponsor of the radio station.
They are probably one of those bigger ones. But, of course, we have pretty large companies invested in the U.S. and also in the Houston area. So we have Siemens, for example. We have BASF. Those are pretty large companies. We have other companies you probably haven't heard about, but they probably deliver their products and services to one of those larger companies. But that's actually our clientele, that's our kind of focus here, because the German American Chamber of Commerce, we mainly provide our services to those small and medium-sized companies you haven't probably heard about, but those companies are really, really important for the industry, because the small and medium-sized companies are the backbone of the German economy.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a large number of those companies in Germany, and so I'm really proud to have the opportunity to deal with them and to bring them over here and to give them all the tools they need actually to start business and to serve probably one of those larger companies like Siemens or BASF or Linde Engineering or Mercedes-Benz, you name it.
So services that the Chamber tangibly provides sort of as technical services to those companies, would they fall under the line of translation, cultural adjustment, as well as being good promoters and having events and sponsoring things? So specifically, what services does the German American Chamber provide to those businesses?
Okay, so it starts very early in the process of, figuring out if the U.S. or if Texas or Houston is a good place to start business. So sometimes it starts back in Germany. So I usually go to Germany around 4 times a year, and I meet companies over there back in Germany, and I talk to local chambers and talk to those local companies. And in those kind of talks, questions come up like, so what are the pitfalls? What do I have to do? And if I want to start or extend my business in the US or in Texas or in the Carolinas. So are there any rules I have to follow? Of course there are. And so this is when we step in and when we provide those companies with information, lots of information you need if you want to start business over here, because you have to follow all those rules and regulations. You have to set up a proper company. So we have a lot of those professional advisors helping us and helping those companies to start their business. For example, if you want to start a company over here, well, you have to found one. So then you probably need to talk to a lawyer. You need to talk to a tax advisor, because this is crucial. The setup of your company, of your entity here, should be the best setup which fits your company. And so that's going to be the first step probably. And once all this has happened, once the company is founded, you might going to bring some people over here. So those expats coming from Germany, sometimes they need advice. They need to learn how to act in this
environment,
cultural environment, because doing business in the US is different of doing business in Germany. And sometimes we see that you have a company, you have an individual that have been to the US mainly probably to spend 2 or 3 weeks
as a vacation.
Of their vacation time. And they think, okay, so it really everything looks similar to Germany. People look the same. And so people are very friendly over here. And so doing business should be easy, but it's not, because rules and how you behave in business, those rules are different than back in Germany. So of course we have to educate them as well to actually to follow those procedures and to fit into the business world over here. So this is probably a big portion of advice we can give to those companies, and but it won't stop there. So when they bring their family over here, kids, for example, so you have to find the proper school for those kids. Like questions. So now they're here, and of course they need a driver license, and they need a house, and they need electricity at home. They need internet, and they need a cell phone, and so those things are quite different from how to apply, how to get those resources. That can be different from the way you get those resources in Germany.
Okay. Mr. Langenau, if I could just jump in, your English is very fluent. And I would think that that would probably one of the major barriers for someone transitioning from Germany to America is to be able to speak in or have access to a translator. What would you say would be the first 3 things that a German citizen or business owner should and could do once they get to America?
And you only have about a minute before we go to a break, so I don't want to put you under any pressure.
So say it again. The 3 things.
It's the first 3 things that a German resident or citizen or transitioning to the United States, what would they do or should they do?
Well, first of all, I would say it's really about the culture. You should study about the culture over here, and you can see it. So we have different states in the U.S. We have 50 different states, and even it makes a huge difference if you are located in Texas or in California or in Oklahoma or in Buffalo. It really makes a difference. So imagine somebody coming from overseas, coming over here, and starts a new life.
Sure.
So you really have to adapt, and in order to do that well, you probably have to study first.
Right. Well, let's take a break, and we'll be back with Sven Langenau, the managing director of the German American Chamber of Commerce South here in Houston. Thank you.
1520 KYND.
This is Carla J, inviting you to join the new Sound Off with Carla J as we discuss pop culture, today's music, hottest gossip, sports, and a whole lot more. It's going to be crazy. You'll never know what shenanigans the guys will be up to and who'll be visiting the studio. Thursdays, 6 p.m. here on 1520 KYND.
Apple and Android users, be sure and download the KYND radio app. And don't miss Sound Off with Carla J on 1520 KYND.
In the early 1900s, the invention of radio revolutionized the way the world communicated. News programs became immediately available to the public. Over the years, America has never lost its love affair with radio. We now live in the information age. Listeners have multiple ways to connect to information. Talk radio still remains a powerful medium to connect to our communities and to the world. KYND is not just talk radio, it's interactive radio. Powered by JStream, the future of broadcasting. Listeners now have multiple ways they connect to the conversation. Using a mobile device or computer, they are able to watch their favorite radio talk shows just like a TV program. They can call in during a broadcast, send instant messages as they listen live, or share a broadcast so all their friends can watch live on Facebook. If they missed a show, viewers can watch in on-demand platforms. Select programs that will be aired globally on the Genuine Journey Network, featured on Roku, Android, and Amazon Fire TV. When viewers see a product that they're interested in that's being featured on air, they can actually purchase it right from their mobile device while they're watching the show, and they can like that product so that other friends can purchase it as well. KYND 1520 is a powerful 25,000 watt station that covers 175-mile radius of Houston and
Powerful 1520.
All right, we're back. My name is Laurence Rice. You're listening to the Rice for Business Report, and co-hosted by Mr. Broderick Butler. We're speaking with Mr. Langenau, who is representing the German American Chamber. And Mr. Langenau, during the break we were just discussing your immediate duties. What are you charged with here in the Houston area with your duties with the German Chamber?
I guess he's talking about your day-to-day duties. So let's frame that question in. What are the three things that you wake up in the morning responsible for, and the three things that you go to bed at night thinking about, saying, these are the things that have to be done every day?
Okay, so of course our main priority is probably, and we do work really hard for that, to attract companies and businesses that they invest in our region. And so, and of course we try to provide them with all the tools they need, and once they decided to come over here, we give them a warm welcome and of course a soft landing. And we have currently we have a few companies we talk to, and we provide them with all the information they need to start their business over here. And this is probably the first thing comes into my mind. But secondly, of course, we put a lot of effort into connecting those businesses which are already over here, and connect them not only on business to business, but also like the individuals, because as I said before, it's really important that the whole family, if it's a family, feels home and likes the environment they just have arrived in. So that's probably number 2. 3, of course, we always working really hard to spreading the word about this great city and our region. And of course, sometimes it happens when I travel back to Germany and I talk to companies or to individuals, of course, they're not really aware about our region and about probably Houston and Texas. They think, when they think about Houston, it's always like oil and gas, and of course the first phrase which always comes up is Houston, we have a problem. And so I really want to get it right and trying to spread the word that Houston is not only oil and gas, and it's really something more. And we all have learned in the past years that Houston has a great variety of different industries, and it's not boom and bust anymore.
Well, during our pre-show conversation, we were talking about the pharmaceutical industry, and MD Anderson is I would imagine, the worldwide leader in cancer treatment. And I touched upon the pharmaceutical community that is in Germany, and we seem to have some commonality there with regards to what you guys are doing in medicine and pharmaceuticals, and inclusive of instruments as well.
Right, but one of the things I know, and the list of their primary exports is motor vehicles, like we talked about BMW, machinery, the manufacturing, the precise manufacturing of machinery, chemicals, which Laurence is talking about because pharmaceuticals fall under that, computer and electrical products, electrical equipment, pharmaceuticals, metals, transport, foodstuff, textiles, rubber, and plastic products. So in that regard, you just don't stick to oil and gas in this sector. You provide, the German American community, employers and companies provide services in a diverse spectrum. And that's why I was asking you earlier about companies that we may not know about.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So I think that's one of the advantage of those small and medium-sized companies, that some of them they have really great minds working for them, and they come up with great inventions. It's sometimes it's for example, the recent hit the oil price had taken. It's a chance for rethink the whole, not the whole industry, but parts of the processes within the industry. So if you think about just a valve, if there's a valve you don't have to maintain anymore, so which you just plug in and it stays there for like 20 years, maintenance goes to zero. That's a big cost improvement for companies. And those oil and gas or even chemical companies, the whole industry now is looking for those solutions to bring costs down, and they need specialized tools and appliances for that. And this is probably one of the industry, or this is the German companies, they do really great in that.
So logistically, because that was an area that I wanted to talk to you about later. There, in 2013, Bill Gates testified before Congress, and he regularly does, about increasing the numbers of scientists, graduate students, and individuals with technical training to the level of PhDs, but coming from foreign countries. And specifically, I would think Germany is a wellspring of scientists, engineers, and individuals, and young individuals that would come over for training in the U.S., but they're German citizens who would come here, become German Americans. They would go to University of Houston, Stanford, and places of that, and contribute to the local economy by bringing that expertise that they were trained in Germany, but educated in the United States. And so we have one of the wealthiest men in our country, as well as other leaders, talking about lessening or upping the cap on bringing in foreign students, specifically from Germany.
Yeah, of course. It's so because the German American Chamber of Commerce stands for bilateral trade, right? So, and it's always good to have those bilateral relationship. And for me, I'm I'm for to widen even that. So I think we should even work closer together and learn from each other. And then the thing, this is a great thing to do. Just stick our heads together and learn from each other. And so I was born in Berlin, actually. So I know a lot about walls, and I know about the great thing bringing walls down, because I was there when the Berlin Wall actually fell. And so this is I think a great thing to do, just to bring walls down and come together and learn from each other.
Right, because you're a significant trading partner along with the British, the Italians that we have, but probably if we had to rank them, we have a traditional relationship with the country of Britain because that's where we spawned from. But I would think that when we go down that list, that Germany is probably immediately the next name we go to, or at least in the top 3 to top 5. So that's something that I think is key and essential moving forward, and especially in a global world that we have now with change of administration. We keep talking about looking to south of the United States, but Europe is still there, and Germany is the center of Europe. And you guys are the largest trade partner for almost every other country in Europe alone, but you also have a significant amount of trade with the United States. So it goes without saying that I think we will go hand in hand into the future with not only Germany, Great Britain, but probably a handful of companies in Mexico because, again, the proximity of that country. So, Mr. Rice, do you have anything to throw in there?
Well, I just wanted to say that the workmanship that goes into the automobiles, BMW, particularly Mercedes, it's a well-crafted, and if they never produce another commercial, I think that both names, the nameplates, BMW and Mercedes, would live on and on and on and on because the world believes in a product, and it is certainly such, again, a well-crafted automobile that people will sometimes purchase and not even do any research on it, but they just believe in the nameplate.
So let's not forget Volkswagen.
And Volkswagen also. And so I only wanted to say that the workmanship that Germany is known for is well pronounced and acknowledged here in America.
And you have to work for that really hard.
Yes.
Every day.
Mm-hmm.
You have to work hard for that because it's of course it's like you said, but it's an interesting story. So not long ago, we had a company coming over here. So they now invest a large number of dollars here in this region, and they told me a story, which is when I first visited them back in Germany. So the general manager told me that back in the 50s or 60s, they were traveling back or to the US to learn about the procedures and about products and machinery.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, it has, turned around. So now he's actually getting all those visits from managing directors from US companies, and they want to know what looks the latest technology. How does it look like? And so that's why I'm saying you have to work for that really every day. You have to work hard. And actually, if it comes down to cars, I think the U.S. car manufacturers, they have learned a lot the past years. So U.S. automobiles are really up to par nowadays. It wasn't always like that, but so I think that there was a lot of effort within that industry to get up the standards and quality.
Well, they've certainly done a great job at it, and again, my hat's off, and I applaud it. And I want to say we're going to be coming up against a break, but also too, the German economy is the strongest, in my mind, is the strongest in the European basin, and also too, I think we could learn. Our economists here in the United States could certainly learn something from the German economy. We'll be right back after these messages.
Do you want to weigh in on the conversation? Grab your phone and lock us in. 832-230-5592. The phone lines are open and we're waiting to hear from you.
Yo, what up, world? That's right, Carl Mays, King Motivator, KYND 1520. You better keep it locked. I'm telling you, if you want to stay focused, you want to be great, you want to get what you need, I got you. That's right, another day, another chance.
This is Carla J, inviting you to join the new Sound Off with Carla J as we discuss pop culture, today's music, hottest gossip, sports, and a whole lot more. It's going to be crazy. You'll never know what shenanigans the guys will be up to and who'll be visiting the studio. Thursdays, 6 p.m. here on 1520 KYND.
Apple and Android users, be sure and download the KYND radio app. And don't miss Sound Off with Carla J on 1520 KYND.
In the early 1900s, the invention of radio revolutionized the way the world communicated. News programs became immediately available to the public. Over the years, America has never lost its love affair with radio. We now live in the information age. Listeners have multiple ways to connect to information. Talk radio still remains a powerful medium to connect to our communities and to the world. KYND is not just talk radio, it's interactive radio. Powered by JStream, the future of broadcasting. Listeners now have multiple ways they connect to the conversation. Using a mobile device or computer, they are able to watch their favorite radio talk shows just like a TV program. They can call in during a broadcast, send instant messages as they listen live, or share a broadcast so all their friends can watch live on Facebook. If they missed a show, viewers can watch in on-demand platforms. Select programs that will be aired globally on the
Air everywhere. Everywhere. The powerful 1520.
My name is Laurence Rice. You're listening to the Rice Business Report, co-hosted by Mr. Broderick Butler. We've got Mr. Langenau, who is the managing director for the Houston office of the German American Chamber of Commerce. And as we continue on our international quest to bring international chambers in front of our microphones here at KYND 1520, it is a pleasure to be able to reach new plateaus each week with esteemed guests such as Mr. Langenau. Now, Mr. Langenau, we were talking.
Well, actually, we'd love to get his contact information first, and if he could repeat that.
Okay, so you can contact me via phone, which will be 832-384-1201. And you can, of course, email me slangenau@gacccsouth.com.
And can you do that in Deutsch?
I can do that in Deutsch. Mein Name ist Sven Langenau, Managing Director von der German American Chamber of Commerce. Meine Telefonnummer ist die 832-384-1201. E-Mail unter slangenau@gaccSouth.com.
Now, one of the things we wanted to talk about is events that were coming up, but Laurence may have had a question before you lay out all the events the German American Chamber South in Houston is going to do.
No, let's continue on with the events. I'm eager.
Oh, yeah. So this is probably a big portion of where the work goes into. So we do a lot of events, and it's always good to connect on the socially side as well as on the business. But actually next week, that's probably one of our bigger events, the New Year's reception. And so we recognize all our new members. And of course, we honor all our loyal members. Some of them stick around for more than 40 years.
And the date and time of that?
Yeah, so that's going to be next Wednesday. And it's at the Grove. It's in Houston downtown, near the Discovering Green.
And the time?
Yeah, it's going to be from 6 to 8 in the evening. So
okay.
It's probably decent time, so everybody who has finished work easily can get there. So, but of course, we have also some of our traditional events. That next one, we call it Grünkohlessen, which is actually it's a traditional dinner from Germany. It's a kale, it's cooked kale, and you have some traditional sausages. But unfortunately, that will be in Dallas. So, but more events, of course, coming up. We have business-related events and collaboration with the with it's called Business Dialogue, and so what we do actually is we bring in companies or individuals talking about a certain topic within the industry, about maybe new things going on, latest technologies, or even new rules and regulations on taxes or immigration law. Because if you're here and most of the German expats are here on a visa, you of course you want to know about the latest regulations on taxes and on visas. But this is called our Business Dialogue in collaboration with the German consulate here in Houston. We also have.
Is there a location for that and a time and a day?
So we have we have several events like this going on. So the next Business Dialogue will be on January 31st, and that will be at the German consulate in Houston. This topic on the 31st will be about immigration.
Okay.
So that's always a really interesting topic to talk about. We also have our Stammtisch. It's on a monthly basis, and so this is more, getting out of the office, getting
a few beers,
getting ready for a few beers, maybe, yes, and then talk a little bit about business, but talk about other topics as well, like more on the personal side. So
where is that located, and what day would that be to come and have a few beers with maybe German beers with German Americans?
Of course. So that's the next one will be on February 23rd, and that's in Montrose area. It's a bar. It's called Phoenicia, and that's on Westheimer. And so that's originally, actually, I think that's an English pub, but well, we're very open for every kind of tradition, and actually the beer is not bad.
Okay. They may bring a few German beers with them and then just set up a tab. Is there anything else, or would you be going into March after those two events, January and February?
Well, yeah, as I said, those Business Dialogue events, they're on a monthly basis, as well as our Business Stammtisch. I want to spend a few words on probably our largest and well-known event, which is on a yearly basis, and you probably have heard about the Oktoberfest.
Oh, no. Enlighten us about Oktoberfest for beer drinkers out there. I assume there may be some beer involved.
They may be, yes, but it's a great event, and we usually have it at the St. Arno's Brewery in Houston downtown. It's a great place. They have a great facility, and it looks a little bit similar to the traditional place, the Brauhaus in Munich, in Bavaria. Some of you may have discovered in the past, but this is probably one of our largest events, and it's traditionally in September. It's called Oktoberfest, but we celebrate it in the late September.
In late September. So we're going to be wrapping up this segment pretty soon because Laurence has a guest calling in a few minutes. Is there anything else regarding the German American Chamber of Commerce South here in Houston that you would like for us to know in regards to what they do and their mission?
Of course. So, as I said, as we discussed before, it's our main effort goes into convincing companies from overseas or from Germany to invest in this great region and to discover actually their opportunities over here. And we provide those companies with all the tools that they need to start business over here. And that's probably one of our main missions. Secondly, we have those membership and events sections. And as I said, I always believe that it's really important that those pieces fit together nicely, like the business part, but on the private scale as well. So if you don't feel, if you don't have the right feeling, especially if you come from overseas, you really need to have this kind of comfort over here, and this is one of those things we try to provide in when we connect people on the socially basis as well as on a business basis.
Well, we thank you for being here. That was Sven Langenau, the Managing Director of the German American Chamber of Commerce South, giving us an introduction. And Mr. Langenau will also be a hopefully long-term partner, and we will be establishing a relationship with him to hear about everything new, great, and wonderful about the German American people. One quick question before we close this segment, and then hopefully it'll just be very straightforward. How large is the German American community here in the greater Houston area? Is it small, medium, large, or is it tremendously bursting at the seams every day? People are coming from Germany, Berlin, Stuttgart to Houston, Dallas.
Yeah, well, it's always depends on your perspective, what is small, medium, and large. But I think the German community counts around 20,000 in Houston.
Okay, that's a very sizable number. One last thing, I heard a German language telecast of a Houston Texans football game. Are you aware that the Houston Texans football games are broadcast in German?
That's a great thing, but I wasn't aware.
Okay, well, I will try to find that. That was a segment on a sports talk show that actually brought that in. So I think we are, as you say, coming together on many, many facets in regards to Texas culture, American culture, and German culture. So thank you, sir, for being here. We look forward to having you to be a guest again in the future. And so if you would like to sign off in whatever your favorite quote or phrase or goodbye is in both English and German, we'd love to have it.
Okay, thanks for having me, and tschüss.
Again, I always think about the German people. One word is efficiency, and he was very efficient. So I think we're going to move forward. We have a guest caller on the line.
Yeah, we've got somebody scheduled to call in at 5:45, and I want to say thank you, Mr. Langenau, before you leave our microphones. Thank you very much for coming in. We look forward to a long-term relationship and perhaps being invited to attend some of your events. I'd certainly be interested.
Oh, we'll be there.
Okay.
We will be there.
This I'd like you to have. That's from Karbach Brewery. They've been bought by one of the big names, but I thought, well, as my peace offering to you, that you might want to give it a visit. They have a tour, by the way, also.
And we're coming up on a break.
Okay. So we'll be right back after these breaks. We should have our caller, Jan, who is going to give us some insights on body language. She's a body language expert, and she's appeared on several television programs, and she is a professional court expert on body language. We'll be right back after these messages.
KYND 1520, KYNDradio.com.
Hey everybody, this is Trent T. Daniel.
The power of a community lies in the strength of its leaders. Throughout history, powerful leaders have emerged to help guide our community through difficult times. When a leader emerges, they make a commitment to the ones they serve to help them through challenges, encourage them to move to greater heights, and to celebrate them when they have victories. For more than 21 years, Bayway Lincoln has celebrated our diversity and supported our communities. Bayway Lincoln, a part of the Bayway Auto Group, a family-owned auto group, is one of the fastest-growing dealers in Houston. Bayway Lincoln has been awarded the prestigious Triple Crown Award for quality service. Bayway Lincoln, Volkswagen of the Woodlands, Bayshore Dodge, Bayway Volvo. The Bayway family has been longtime champions of diversity and would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the leaders of the past and encourage the leaders of the future. We invite you to come and find out what's made Bayway Lincoln an award-winning dealership for over 2 decades. Go to baywaylincoln.com or call 281-929-6500. That's 281-929-6500. Bayway Lincoln, strengthening our community for a better tomorrow.
The powerful 1520.
Okay, we are back. My name is Laurence Rice. You're listening to the Rice Business Report. We've just had a very, very enlightening session with the German Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Langenau, and again, co-hosted by Broderick Butler. We've got a caller on the line who I think most of you would be quite interested in hearing from. Hello, Jan.
Hello, this is Jan.
Hey, Jan, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, good, good. I just want to segue into who you are and what you do. Jan is a body language expert, and I attended an Asian Chamber of Commerce event yesterday, and she gave a demonstration, which obviously we can't do today because this is radio and it's a visual. But, Jan, just give us some of the intricacies of a sincere handshake, body gestures, going to the nose, the left side of the brain, the right side of the brain. Please, do your thing.
Okay. Yes, it is. Isn't it an interesting science? Because body language says a lot more than the actual words that come out of a person's mouth. In fact, it's 55% of our communication is through the nonverbal. So, you make important decisions about people within 4 minutes of speaking with them. You quickly decide, do I like that person or do I trust that person? Do I want to have a conversation with them? So that's the importance of nonverbal. And I've been teaching it for years, first at the University of Houston, University of Louisiana also, and then travel, and I teach people how to use it effectively to gain the upper hand, oftentimes, whether it's a job interview, whether it's a board meeting that you're to speak at, or even a presentation where someone's speaking. If you know the right body language, I think you can almost have the advantage in any situation. But to start off with, yes, a handshake is really important because that's when people first will get to judge you. And the correct way to do a handshake is a complete vertical handshake, straight up and down. Not that a negative handshake would be if your hand is facing downward and the other hand is facing upward, or the other person. Downward-facing palms are always controlling, and upward-facing palms are always submissiveness. So if someone comes to you and their hand is facing downward, they're giving you a message that says, I want to take control of the conversation. And I often tell groups who I train that if someone ever comes to you that way and you would like an equal chance, a 50-50 chance in the discussion, make sure that you straighten out the hand and have it go up and down. And one thing that's interesting, and we teach this at the university level, the correct way to handshake is that you touch web to web. And, of course, web to web is that area between your thumb and your pointer finger because, it shows confidence in you. It shows authority in you. And people often will say if it's a limp handshake, they may have a really negative impression of you. Also, when people are in meetings and the way they cross their arms, that says something. If your arms are crossed and your hands are not showing, that's too defensive. It's too negative. It's as though you're saying, I'm not listening to what you're saying. The wisest way, if you have to cross during a meeting, is that you would cross your arms in front of your body and make sure that at least one of your hands are showing. It's better to even have both of your hands are showing. But if one hand is showing, it's called a resting position or a coach's position. So it's more as though you are in contemplation rather than saying, I'm really not listening to what you're saying.
Okay.
Things like that. Is it interesting?
Yes, very interesting, Jan. I've been remiss, but now give our audience your contact information and your accreditations.
Yes, my contact information, of course, is janhargrave.com is my website. And my graduate studies were done in nonverbal communication. I am from Louisiana, so I attended college at University of Louisiana Lafayette. taught there for several years and then moved to Houston and taught at the University of Houston for several years. But what interested me so much in graduate school, I did have a professor who would continuously say, I know what you're thinking, I know what you're thinking, I know what you're thinking. And I thought, I want to know what people are thinking. And so then I started researching it, and I've written 5 books. People who want to purchase a book can just go simply to my website. One book is about sales body language. One is job interview body language. One is lovers body language. I do that one with Steve Harvey often. One is judge the jury, because I do work in the courtroom and we pick juries, and so there's a whole science in that body language. And one is poker players body language. That's enough books. Isn't that enough books?
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, she hit on all the topics that I was interested in.
Yes.
What was it?
Now, basically, you have done work in the courtroom.
Right. I've done work in the courtroom, done work with presidential candidates, did ABC News, NBC, CBS, Fox on all the political debates, and reported on President Barack's body language, Donald Trump's body language, Hillary's body language, because while they were debating, it was an interesting aspect of all of their communication, because people typically will move their hands a certain way when they're insecure and they're lying, and then people move their hands another way when they're telling the truth. So understanding that gives you a really big advantage when you're negotiating with someone else.
Okay. Well, we're coming up to just about the end of our show, but I want to say thank you again for being able to call in and share with us. And before we leave, please give us your contact information, your phone number, website, email address, whatever you have.
Okay. My contact information is janhargrave.com. My business phone is 713-622-9400. janhargrave.com, HARGRAVE.
Can I ask you a question real
Sure,
quick?
go ahead.
When it comes to business and sales, how does body language, what would be your 3 top things if you are a salesperson going into meeting new, strange, potential business partners? What are the 3 things that you would coach a person on to do mandatorily outside of anything else?
Right. First of all, I mean, it has to be that handshake that has to be perfected. It also has to be eye contact, because when you're in a conversation with someone, about 70% of the time that you're talking with them, you should have direct eye contact with them. 70 is direct eye contact, 70%, 30% is indirect eye contact. And then I would suggest in the way that you're sitting, if you're going to sit, and of course, if you're walking into someone's office, you would never sit before they actually invite you to sit or even tell you where to sit. So all of those, when you think of all those procedures, another thing is that you have all of your material readily available and that you don't have to be digging in suitcases or packages, for the information you need to. So it has to be that the less steps that you take in preparing yourself to talk with someone, the more confident you look. So a lot of fumbling, a lot of touching of the clothing, a lot of chewing on pencils, playing with change in pockets. All of those are negative gestures that should be avoided anytime you're going to meet with someone.